Could Netflix be getting into gaming? Hi, I'm Sam Barker here, a tech writer with the Motley Fool, where we help make investors smarter, happier, and richer. And in today's video, I want to dive deep into Netflix's most recent earnings call, where they let a little thing slip about maybe getting into video gaming? I'm not sure, but we'll go into it and talk about what could happen if they decide to get into video gaming, and if they fail, what are other companies we think that could rise to the top in this industry. But before we dive deep into these stocks, I want to take this opportunity to shout out to the company that I work at, the Motley Fool. At the Motley Fool, we are a long-term investing company. We buy a stock, we hold the stock for at least 3 to 5 years. We found that that's the best way to maximize our returns. I found all of this information you're about to hear at our website, fool.com, and on our premium service, Motley Fool Stock Advisor. If you'd like to find out more, just go to fool.com or click the link in the description below. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us out. We want to put out great investing content for people so that they know what exactly to do with their money when the opportunity arises. But now let's dive into Motley Fool's analysis on Netflix. Now, gaming is quickly solidifying itself as one of the top industries in the world. And at the end of 2020, you could see that for yourself. They reached $179 billion in revenue globally, and that's bigger than the global film industry and the North American sports leagues combined. So, with all of that money on the table, is Netflix looking for a slice of the pie? In a recent earnings call, there was a tease of video games, but Reed Hastings was a little coy with it, saying he doesn't see Netflix getting a second act like Amazon did with AWS or Amazon Shopping. Now, Greg Peters, on the other hand, the COO and Chief Product Officer of Netflix, he was a little more direct on what he sees as the direction Netflix could go in regarding video games. We're in the business of creating these amazing, deep universes and compelling characters, and people come to love these universes and want to immerse themselves more deeply and get to know the characters better. We're trying to figure out all of the different ways that we can increase those points of connection and deepen the fandom, and certainly games is a really interesting component of that. Whether it's gamifying some of the linear storytelling we're doing, like interactive with Bandersnatch, and we've actually launched games themselves as part of licensing and merchandising efforts, and we're happy with what we've seen. There's no doubt that games are going to be an important form of entertainment and an important modality to deepen that fan experience, so we're going to keep going, he said. So, Peters did say that they are experimenting with different formats. If you remember Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, and Bear Grylls' You vs. Wild, those interactive experiences were huge hits for Netflix. And Netflix series like Stranger Things, they embrace video game and arcade culture, and Netflix even produced a mobile and handheld version of the game in 2019. And the recent season of The Witcher, which was based off of the popular Polish fantasy novels and a series of video games, it shows that the appetite for gaming is there. Remember back a couple of years ago, Netflix says they compete with and lose to Fortnite more than they do HBO. They recognize that video games is a serious threat to their streaming empire, something that Amazon and Google have already realized. Now you see, the problem is, both of those companies have sputtered when it's come to gaming, especially Google when it launched Stadia earlier on. Now, you can argue that Amazon really shouldn't be included there because of their acquisition of Twitch, and that could be a viable option for Netflix, streaming game content. So in my opinion, if Netflix really wants to get penetration into the video game market, they would need to go the Amazon Twitch route or the licensing and production route, rather than the Google or console route, because Netflix would get crushed by Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. But if you're looking for growth in this industry and really want a slice of this burgeoning video game behemoth, you need to look at 3 other companies I think that could provide better returns than Netflix, and they're specifically video game focused. So the first company I want to talk about is Activision Blizzard. They just wrapped up their greatest financial year ever in 2020. And they're driven by the leading Call of Duty franchise. It's something that you guys are probably well familiar with that. They generated $8 billion in revenue in 2020. That's 25% more than they did the year previously. While there aren't any known major new catalysts for growth in 2021, Activision has made a structural change that should help expand profits with each coming year. Traditionally, the Call of Duty franchises have been based on the success of individual games, but thanks to the introduction of a brand new free-to-play model, Activision can release new software updates to its existing user base every season. This is similar to the Battle Royale that we've seen in Fortnite. Additionally, this style has introduced a recurring revenue element as users pay for a Battle Pass subscription every time a new season is introduced. Since each new user requires fewer variable costs, this has led to more sustainable profit growth across the board for Activision. Subsidiaries like King and Blizzard have also performed impressively over the past year. When you think of King, you think Candy Crush and mobile gaming, and Blizzard obviously World of Warcraft. All three of these franchises under the Activision umbrella have generated greater than a 35% operating margin in 2020. With each business now humming along, Activision now looks well positioned to deliver more cash flow to shareholders over the next several years. The second stock I want to talk about, Nintendo. Obviously, it's a name to know in the video game industry with over 50 years experience in console gaming. You know them from the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, GameCube, Wii, and now the Nintendo Switch. And they're behind some of the most globally recognizable characters in entertainment history, not just video games. You're talking Mario, Donkey Kong, Pokemon. The Nintendo Switch is a hybrid handheld and home console, and it's been one of the best-selling consoles of the past 3 years. And the company has already introduced a newer version of the Switch called the Switch Lite. It's a smaller, more compact Nintendo Switch. And the Switch OLED version was announced recently and will be arriving later this year. Now, with roughly 90 million units in total now in people's homes, game development has become really lucrative for Nintendo as well. Since development costs hardly change, Nintendo has a wider audience to sell to, and their profits continue to grow. In their 2021 fiscal year, which ended back in March, they generated $6 billion in operating profits, an 86% increase from the 12 months before. And they're trading at a market cap that is only 9 times operating profits, so the future is looking bright for Nintendo. Now, like I said, they're planning on releasing a new Switch later this year. If 3 consecutive consoles are able to sell successfully, it should wake the market up to the idea that the Nintendo Switch is here to stay. And the last company I really want to talk about is Take-Two. Take-Two Interactive, they've grown really thanks to the stellar performance of a few key franchises, namely the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Grand Theft Auto 5, their last iteration in that series, is the highest grossing media property of all time, bigger than any movie franchise. The Red Dead Redemption series has also proven to be a big draw. And with the introduction of Red Dead Online and Grand Theft Auto Online, they can now bring profits in by selling access to different weapons and different features in the game on a continuing basis. And in the sports category, its NBA 2K basketball series is a leader in the sports gaming world. Now, game development is typically a complicated and resource-intensive task, but Take-Two's top development studios have repeatedly risen to the task and delivered products that delighted players and recorded high levels of engagement and in-game spending. With its fantastic development talent and trio of highly profitable core franchises creating a strong foundation, the company has room to pursue new growth opportunities in categories including mobile games and esports. So there you have it. What do you guys think? Do you think Netflix could make a dent in the video game industry? Or what do you think about the 3 stocks that we like just as much as Netflix, if not more? Leave a comment in the comment section below. If you have any other ideas for other videos that you'd like to see done here, also leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow us on Instagram and YouTube, and as always, Fool On.